a vampire is too spectacular and weird, even though in this city alone, in the past year and a half, we've had octopuses, a guy with octopus arms, a scorpion man, a man with a fucking fishbowl on his head, a goblin man. It's like the vampire, that's taken it way too far. It's like bull fucking shit. Get over yourself. Hello, I just wanted to thank you for clicking on my video, and I wanted to let you know, not only do I create content in my YouTube channel here, Class in a Glass, but I'm also on Twitch, where I play single-player games, multiplayer games. I do movie reviews, cartoon reviews, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Also, it would be a big help if you can check out my Patreon, where you can gain access to audio commentaries, reactions, and the ability to submit questions for my podcasts and videocasts. And all that content can be found in the links below. In the meantime, enjoy the video. But now, my friends, we must go ahead and review Spider-Man, the animated series, episode 22, chat, Blade, first comma that we ever had in the title, the immortal vampire, chat. Chat, as we know, Spider-Man, he has dealt with his little spider tum-tum situation, chat. He became the man-spider only a couple episodes ago, and he's still dealing with those ramifications, chat. The thing is, he is not cured. He is not cured of his man-spider disease. He's going to need to find another quick fix. All right, he's got to use the neurogenic recombinator created by Dr. Kirk Connors, who is also the lizard, chat. He needs to be exposed to it every 24 hours. But while also having to go to these daily sessions of Dr. Connors, he still has to track down Michael Morbius, chat. And so we get this quick thing of the Daily Bugle News Network is the Fox News equivalent of the Spider-Man animated series universe, chat, and they're saying like New York is still under siege from these strange plasma attacks. This individual, we suspected Spider-Man, even though we have no evidence, we suspected Spider-Man. He is draining the plasma of New Yorkers, particularly the students of Empire State University. We does not explain. One, Michael Morbius is still unaccounted for. We believe that he was kidnapped by Spider-Man, and but thankfully we can report that Peter Parker, who we also thought was taken by Spider-Man, he has come home and he's fine. And we get this quick shot, chat, on the news, on the boob tube, with Aunt May just hugging Peter Parker, and he's like, I'm sorry, everybody, I was trying to track down Spider-Man and take some pictures. This is my job for the Daily Bugle. Didn't mean to worry anyone, didn't mean to worry my Aunt May. She said, oh, Peter, I'm so happy you're home. Stop taking pictures of Spider-Man. He's a menace. That J. Jonah Jameson, that handsome man, he's right, Peter. Those eyes. He says, yeah, okay, man, thanks. And then, chat, it's nighttime, and Peter's like, my tummy, it hurts so bad. Oh, God. It's like, I gotta go see Dr. Kirk Connors, but you also gotta find Michael Morbius, chat, and he's just fucking web swinging. He's like, oh, there's Michael Morbius right there. And he just fucking web swings right towards him, chat, and they start punching, but he realizes, oh, my God, Michael Morbius is even more powerful than ever, and he's just fucking holding Spider-Man down. At this point, he's like, Michael, I'm here to help you. And Michael's like, I don't need your help, Spider-Man. I realize when I woke up that tonight, on this night, I enjoy this. Peter's like, God damn it, come on, man. He's like, I will be immortal. Well, all this fucking shenanigans is going on, chat. It's crazy. All of a sudden, this fucking motorcycle jumps from one building to the other, chat. It's like, first of all, how did a motorcycle get on top of that building? And then how did that same motorcycle jump from that building to this building? It doesn't make any goddamn sense. What the hell's going on, chat? It's what? And who's on that motorcycle, chat? Let me fucking tell you. It is Blade, the immortal vampire. Is like, I'm here for you, Morbius and Spider-Man, because, chat, fucking the Daily Bugle is reporting that Spider-Man is also a vampire, and once you get a vampire, chat, it's not long until Blade, the immortal vampire, is coming after that ass, and so he just starts throwing fucking garlic bombs, and Morbius goes, oh my God, this is the worst thing ever. He starts trying to get out of the way. Blade shooting all these crossbows is a theme tonight, chat. Stripe using a crossbow and Palin Billy with it, and then Blade, he's firing. He's got like a motorcycle crossbow that fires every time he turns his little handles, chat, firing those out, the little wooden stakes. Morbius is like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. This is nuts. I have to leave, okay? John's like, in 5 minutes. Only Ghost Rider can pull that shit off. Well, apparently Blade can too. He is like, I'm gonna borrow your bike, Ghost Rider. Just beat the shit out of Ghost Rider. Just punch, punch, punch. This is mine now. And fucking Morbius, he takes off. Blade tries to go after him, but Spider-Man's like, no, don't, I'm trying to help him. And Blade's like, get off of me, you evil vampire. And he starts throwing garlic bombs at Spider-Man. Spider-Man's like, is that garlic? What the hell is this? And he goes, you weren't affected by the garlic bombs? By the way, Blade's voice actor is terrible. He sounds like this, Spider-Man. You weren't damaged by my garlic bombs? He's like, no, I wouldn't be. Oh, then you are not my enemy, Spider-Man. Let this be a lesson to you to not interfere in the works of Blade, the immortal vampire. This is before like Wesley Snipes was cast, chat. And Spider-Man's like, this is fucking weird. And then Spider-Man literally watches Blade fucking ride off the side of a building, chat. And Blade in midair activates something on his motorcycle. The wheels get like these metal treads. And he manages to stick his motorcycle to the side of a building and begins riding up it. I'm like, I don't think physics. Physics, chat. How is that possible? And he's still chasing after Morbius. He's like, I'm going to get you, motherfucker. I'm going to get you eventually. And Peter's like, Jesus, this is weird. But oh, my tummy. And he's like, my tum hurts. I can't get him. So he's like, I gotta go see Dr. Kirk Connors. And so he web swings over there, Chad, and Dr. Connors like, oh, geez, Spider-Man, I wish Dr. Crawford could help you, but she had to go to Africa to help with that plague. Boo-hoo. That's what he basically says to you. It's like, oh my God, that's kind of shitty, Dr. Kirk Connors. And he's like, I can help you though. And then all of a sudden, Chad, you hear like the little, like, it's like almost Spider-Man's like pregnant. He's like, my tummy. You see these like little things popping out of him, Chad. It's like very Cronenberg-esque. Like the arm's about to pop out of him again. He's like, I'm gonna press the button on the recombinator. He goes beep bop boop, and the neurogenic recombinator, chat, hits Spider-Man with those neurogenic rays, and boy does he feel better. He's like, I feel better than ever, Doc. He goes, yep. No, I'm glad you're doing well, Spider-Man, but you're going to have to come here every 24 hours for these sessions until we can find a permanent cure for you, okay? So you have to come back. Spider-Man's like, will do, sir. And he's like, yeah, but I don't know how long that's going to last. He's like, what do you mean? Well, because of all these mutated freaks around New York City, security's going to be doubling up in New York Recombinator. And if I don't get this grant, then they could take this research away and put it in a whole nother city altogether. And he goes, really? He goes, yeah. And Spider-Man's like, shit, I gotta go catch Michael Morbius to put an end to this shit because I need this thing or I could become the Man-Spider. So it's not a good situation, chat. And eventually, he's like, okay, this is crazy. There's a fucking literal vampire hunter out there. There's also a vampire. It's just too much. I'm going to go home for a bit. That's what I need to do. And so then, chat, we see him working on his costume and weapon. He's got the little bit of garlic. He can put some garlic mixture in his web fluid now. It's like, ooh, that's good. That's a good thing. Mixing that up. But then Aunt May comes up. She's like, Peter? Peter? He goes, yes, Aunt May. Peter, that lovely Mary Jane Watson about. Would you like to talk with me? He's like, sure, Aunt May. And he picks up. He's like, I haven't called MJ since I was gone for all that time, since I was the Man-Spider. And boy, she didn't like the way I looked when I was the Man-Spider. He's like, oh, hi, MJ. I'm sorry I haven't called. I've just been so busy. She goes, you can make it up to me, Tiger, by taking me to dinner tonight. He's like, sure, absolutely. She goes, great. I'm just going to be in class. Apparently, the police are coming by ESU. They're going to be giving us some warnings and some new policies we have to follow. You should be there too, Peter. He goes, shit, yeah, I guess I should. Okay, I'll be right over. So he hangs up, chat, puts the Spider-Man in his backpack, a good old backpack, and he heads on over, moseys on over, chat. Also, Morbius is like, I'm so sad. I want to bang Felicia, but I can't. I'm a vampire. So he's like, my head. And so eventually, Chad, good old Peter Parker, he heads over to ESU. And the class is not filled with, like, random people. It's just all the characters from the series. That's all it is. So you got Deborah Whitman in there. Deborah Whitman, she went to the police and said, it's not Spider-Man. It's a vampire. It's like, a vampire. Really? It's like, I love it that you think a vampire is too spectacular and weird, even though in this city alone, in the past year and a half, we've had octopuses, a guy with octopus arms, a scorpion man, a man with a fucking fishbowl on his head, a goblin man. It's like the vampire, that's taken it way too far. It's like bull fucking shit. Get over yourself. And You got the one police officer who was featured in the Mysterio episode. I forget her name. I don't remember her name. Let me put some respect on that character. Hold on. That person is it Terry Lee? Is it Terry? I think it's Terry Lee, chat. I got it. It is Terry Lee, Detective Terry Lee. And she's given some good old advice to all the surviving students at ESU, which just include Peter Parker, Harry Osborn, Mary Jane Watson, Felicia Hardy, and that's about it. That's about it, chat. And all of a sudden, chat, the detectives just starts talking. She just starts talking shit to Peter, and like, this is not the time to do this. She said, Parker, now I know that you take those pictures of Spider-Man. What were you doing that night? Why haven't you tried to find Spider-Man for us? She's like, well, first of all, I don't have to answer any of your questions at all. And she goes, oh, okay. And so you know nothing about the disappearance of Michael Morbius. I remember that you and Miss Hardy were quite close. Were you banging? Were you smooching? He goes, this is extremely inappropriate. Thank you, Doctor of the Five Base. Honestly, a vampire is normal compared to the shit Spider-Man deals. It really is. It's like, oh, yeah, vampire. Yeah, that's old. That's fine. That's me normal. Absolutely. Right there with you. And he's like, and Felicia just runs out like traumatized. And Peter's like, oh my Jesus Christ, what's wrong with you? She goes, tell me. He's like, I don't have to tell you shit. Now, unless you're going to put the fucking cuffs on me, then get the hell out of my way, lady. And she moves aside because she's full of shit. And he goes out there. He's like, Felicia, I'm sorry. Is everything okay? And she's just fucking sobbing. He's like, Peter, I'm just so scared. I'm so sad. I'm so scared. I know where Michael is. He's like, listen, let me get you home. Okay. If you want to talk, we can talk. But let's just take you home. She goes, thank you. And then Mary Jane Watson is like outside the door watching all this, and she goes, Parker, how dare you talk to her and sympathize with her and actually show caring feelings? And it's like, MJ, fucking slow your roll. He's checking on her because she was just traumatized by that piece of shit detective. All right, and she's very jealous. And as soon as the first man she sees, Harry Osborn, she goes, Harry, my schedule just cleared up. You want to take me to dinner? He goes, oh, okay. And they just fucking go to dinner. Very rude on MJ's part, chat. Like, Peter's just being a concerned friend. Yeah, sure, he had the hots for Felicia at one point. I mean, who wouldn't, chat? But he was legitimately concerned for her, chat. And then you got fucking Michael Morbius just going, yeah. I just watch, he's like, oh, Parker, how dare you comfort my beloved in her time of absolute need? Why should I stop being selfish and try to create a race of vampires, okay? Don't talk to my girlfriends. Like, people are just out of whack in this series. Doesn't make any goddamn sense. This is the same series that crossed over the X-Men the M series. It did, Brightburn. Yep. I actually reviewed those episodes on stream. The part 2 series, yeah, with Wolverine and shit and Beast and all that. Good stuff. And so he walks her home, chat. Michael's like, I must feed. And he starts draining people with their plasma. But then, thank God, Peter's like, all right, got Felicia home. Got to start battle with Michael Morbius at this point. And then eventually, though, chat, fucking Blade, he's not far behind. And so stupid. So goddamn dumb. Blade, he comes on in there, and he set up his goddamn little motorcycle, chat. He somehow isn't on top of a building again. He has that, like, infrared lights, and he's like, take that, Michael Morbius. And Morbius is like, it burns. It's like, it's the power of the sun. And Michael Morbius gets a brick and throws it at Blade's, like, little, like, motorcycle bike or whatever, and it takes out the light, and then he pushes him over on his bike. That's all he does. And he's like, shit, that didn't work out, now did it. And they get even more of a scrap here, chat. And, I mean, eventually, Morbius, he does get away. And, Spider-Man, he webs up. He webs up fucking Blade again. He webs up Morbius. Morbius is like, this burns, because he put the garlic in the webbing. And so it burns, and he's like, I wish it would work more. But Morbius, he eventually took off. He's heading somewhere. I'll tell you where he is. He's heading in a hot minute. And Blade, like, what the hell did you do to him? He's like, I put some garlic in my webbing. That's what, hurt him a bit. He's like, it was a good move. But stay out of my way, Spider-Man. We got to track down this vampire, okay? I don't need your help. I work alone. And so he fucking drives up. Spider-Man's like, this guy's fucking weird. I'm going to see where he's coming from, chat. So I love this, chat. Blade is hiding out at a movie theater with Whisper, who's, famous sidekick, confidant, master, trainer, if you will. And what they're showing at the movie theater, chat, 1931's Dracula. It's like, okay, very on the nose, but sure. And so he's fucking operating the bike and shit. And Whisper's like, Blade, we should probably work with Spider-Man. He seems like he wants to help. I don't know about this Michael Morbius guy, but we should accept. He's like, no, we work alone, Whisper. That's what we do. And eventually Spider-Man's like, hey, guys, I'm here. And Blade just starts attacking him. And Whisper's like, everyone calm down. And Spider-Man's like, okay, I'm calm. Tell him to calm down. And he's like, Blade, go work on your motorcycle, okay? Go fix your light. He goes, fine, I will. And so he starts fixing the light shed, and Whisper's like, okay, origin story time. Spider-Man, would you like to hear the origin story of Blade? Spider-Man goes, boy, would I. And he's like, well, let me tell you. It takes place in New Orleans, and Blade's mama fell in love with a vampire, and they had the sex, the hot, sweaty vampire sex, and she front pooped out a baby. And who was this baby, Spider-Man? It was Blade. But during the sexy times, the Blade's vampire dad bit his mom, and she didn't want to expose Blade to the life of a vampire, so she abandoned him at an orphanage, and where he lived his life out there where he was bullied, but he was different. He had the powers of both vampires and man, the weaknesses of neither, the strengths of both. He could go out in the daytime, feel no pain, had the increased strength and agility and all that shit. Eventually, he left the orphanage, and that's where I found him, nearly starving. And I trained him for years into the practices of vampire hunting. And Spider-Man goes like, vampires are real, huh? He goes, yep, they sure are. In every walk of society, they have an untold amount of influence over entire countries, regions. Spider-Man's like, this is crazy shit. It is, man. And we could use your help. Spider-Man's like, I'm happy to help. Blade's like, I don't need your help, Spider-Man. And then he just starts fighting again. It's like, Blade, fucking relax. Because Spider-Man just says, listen, what happened, Michael Morbius, like, I'm kind of the reason why he turned into a vampire, and that's what sets Blades off. He's like, what are you talking about? It's like, well, he uses a device called the neurogenic recombinator, and mixed of my radioactive blood, I guess it was exposed to a bat or something, and then he became a vampire. And fucking Whisper's like, so you're saying that's this vampire was created via scientific means? That's what happened? He goes, yeah, see, back in tradition, like, the vampire bite is what did it, but this is a whole new fucking breed of vampire we've never seen before. Thank you, Doug. Another 5 days. The vampires are the Illuminati. They really are. Thank you. In his best Chris Christopherson voice. Oh, is this Chris Christopherson who's doing Blade? No, it's J.D. Hall. That's who's doing it. Thank you, Doug, for the 5 biddies. And so at this point, Blade's like, I don't need you, Spider-Man. Just begins throwing shit at him and stuff. And Whisper's like, Blade, you gotta relax, okay? All right? Listen, Blade, you know that you're becoming more vampiric as the day goes by, but you give my serums that, like, downplay my vampire lust. And he's like, yes, but they're not as effective, okay? We're gonna need to find a long-term cure. Maybe this neurogenic recombinator and Spider-Man's talking about can help you. He's like, no, I must remain a vampire so I can hunt vampires. And he's like, that doesn't make any goddamn sense. He's like, it makes sense to me. And he rides off on his motorcycle and goes, all right, whatever. Eventually, since we're talking about the neurogenic recombinator chat throughout this episode, good old Michael Morbius, he's decided, you know what, instead of curing myself of this disease, I'm just going to make a world of vampires. That's what I'm going to do. And so he steals this from Dr. Kirk Connor's chat, punch, Lizard Man, and he takes off. And eventually, Blade catches up to him, chat, but fucking Morbius, he's just too goddamn powerful at this point. He's been sucking the plasma out of so many college co-eds at this point. He's just fucking buff. And he beats the shit out of Blade, chat. Fucking wrecks his motorcycle, grabs him by his fucking foot, chat, and throws him in a goddamn smokestack. Thankfully, Spider-Man comes there. He webs up Michael Morbius a few more times. He's like, it burns, and he flies off again. And he's like, listen, Blade, I saved your life right there. Let me help you. And Blade's like, fuck, fine, okay, let's do it. You have good intentions. Maybe you're right. Whisper says you're right. All right, you're good by me, Spider-Man, but it's gonna be a very long fucking night. And then we get just one of the most ridiculous scenes of Blade using his motorcycle, jumping. I don't know how this works. Jumping from building to building in New York. Like, how? Physics. Spider-Man's just like, this doesn't make any goddamn sense. And then, chat, we get the scroll, the opening text, to be continued. Are they going to explain Blade's amazing motorcycle that defies gravity? I don't know, chat. I doubt it. But we'll find out next time, chat, in Spider-Man the Animated Series, episode 23.